My mother was Parvati. I am a god. My name is Ganesha. I am also called Ganeshwara, that wearer of obstacles, but I prefer Ganesha. To this day, before any venture is undertaken, it is Ganesha who is invoked and whose blessings are sought. Once asked, always granted. I am a good god, cheerful, giving, often smiling, seldom sad. I am everywhere. I am in your mind and in the thoughts you think, in your heart, whether full or broken, in your face, and in the very air you breathe. Inhale. C'est moi, Ganesha. Exhale. Yo soy Ganesha. Ik bin, yo sono toujours Ganesha. I am in what you eat and what you evacuate. I am sunlight, moonlight, dawn and dusk. I am stool. I am in your kiss. I am in your cancer. I am in the smallest insect that crawls across a picnic blanket towards a potato salad. I am in your hand that squashes it. I am everywhere. I am happy. I am Ganesha. Oh, they're coming. I can see them. I can see everything. They're just outside the International Departures Terminal, struggling out of Allen's sensible metallic blue Volvo station wagon. Not the sky cap in sight. George is at home in Stamford, watching a desultory quarterfinals match in the Virginia Slims tournament, coming live from Tampa on the Sports Channel. George doesn't particularly like women's tennis, but he is paralyzed this evening. He didn't even get up when his wife left. Catherine kissed the top of his head, while he let his head roll to his right shoulder, so that it connected with, lay against her right hand resting there, but their eyes didn't meet. Well, I'm off. He'll miss her. He knows that already, but he doesn't know how much. You sure you have enough money? He is always asking her that.
You sure you have enough money?
Alan and Margaret took it once from the driveway. More than enough. Don't forget to water the ficus. She decided not to say anything about the children. I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too.
Two toots this time. The Silvers aren't the sort of people you like to keep waiting. I love you. Bye. And she was gone. She was on her way to India. He would never see her again.
Air India announces the departure of Flight 87, direct service to Bombay with an intermediate stop in London. Now boarding, gate 10.
You'll have to imagine the terminal more bustling. Every seat is taken this evening. A Boeing 747 filled the capacity. It has been for months. It's the Feast of Holly where I come from. But even gods who are everywhere have to come from somewhere. Entire families are going home for it. Men, women, children. Oh, lots and lots of children. This is Air India after all. Listen to them. How could I not be happy that is? Is there a more joyful sound than children? A more lovely sight than their precious smiles? A sweeter smell than their soiled diapers? Oh, there's a place to bury one's face and no bliss. But I digress. They're here.
Good evening. We're on your flight to Bombay this evening. There are two of us, business class, Maharani class, I think you call it. I believe we have our boarding passes and seat assignments. I think we have adjoining seats. Mrs. Bryn has a window seat. I'm on the aisle, 15A, 15B, at least that's what we asked for. Our travel agent assured us we had. I can only sit in an aisle seat. I'm a claustrophobic. Actually, I hate to fly. No offense, I'm a terrible flyer, but I do. It's the 21st century after all. Too bad there's not a nice boat between you. Whoops! Ship! Ship, 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 I always do that. That should be 15A, 15B business class. Maharani class, that's
shouldn't be. What is the name of the party you're traveling with?
Bryn, this is George Bryn. Catherine Bryn, B-R-Y-N-N-E. I had to leave her at the passenger drop-off with my husband. One of her bags flew open, but she's definitely here. We both are.
Let me try something.
Is the flight very full?
Not a seat.
Oh, that's what I was afraid. And lots of children all screaming, running up and down the aisle. When I was their age, I was left at home. I was not whizzing about from continent to continent, I can tell you that. Oh, well, the 21st century is a grand, though. From here to India, how long is this flight? Something like 18 hours, right?
It's closer to 48 hours.
No, they told me it was 18.
Just a little joke.
Well, it wasn't very funny.
18 swift hours.
That's what I mean.
Unless, of course.
Unless, of course, what?
Unless, of course, nothing. I'm sorry. You look like someone I can have a few laughs with. I'm sorry. I don't exactly have the most exciting job or life of anyone who ever lived. A few laughs on the way to the graveyard. I suppose that's asking too much in this, the goddamn of American civilization.
Is there a problem or not?
Let's hope not.
If you can't give us aisle seats, I'm not going.
Who made these arrangements?
Our travel agent, Wanderlust Holidays, down in Country Mall, Grin. Edith Cairn made the booking. Cairn, like the terrier.
Oh, for a muse of fire! If I said it once, I said it a million times, and I'll say it again. Oh, for a muse of fire to describe all this. Words fail me. The entire English language fails me. If I feel this way, here in the terminal, can you imagine what it'll be like when we actually hit India? I'm sorry. This is all too much for a white woman. So, what's up, Doc? What's the story?
We are lost in the computer. Leave it to Edith Cairn. She's your friend. I never liked her. Oh, listen to me. I am a wreck already. I have just told this nice young man he can't give me an hour seat. I'm not going.
I'm sure we'll be fine, Maggie.
I got you on standby, just in case.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
De nada. Let's try another routing.
Oh, wonderful start to a trip. Tell me what's going on.
We're going to India for 2 weeks. I told my husband, enjoy TNT, AMC, and canned tuna fish. I'm out of here.
Excuse me, was everyone in order here?
Yes, you're fine. Go right aboard. Have a nice flight, Mr. Smith.
Thank you very much.
This is outrageous. We booked this flight months ago.
That was your first mistake. Excuse me.
Air India announces the departure of Flight 87, direct service to Bombay with an intermediate stop in London. Now boarding, Gate 10.
Look at you. You are exhausted already. I told you not to take so much.
I'm not
None
exhausted.
of that is going under my seat. I am not going to sit all the way to Bombay with my knees up to my chin because you insisted on bringing all that crap with you. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not crap. I'm not going to be your porter. Can you read all the books, travel light? If they had one common theme, a simple message. It was travel light.
Let's not fight,
We're not
Margaret.
fighting. Did you bring your passport?
It's right here.
Get it out. He's going to want to see it. Can I give you a tip? Always be ready to show your passport. Keep it someplace you can get to it quickly without holding anybody up.
I'm not holding anybody
Say
out.
you were. It was just a tip. How are we doing?
Have you ever been to Zimbabwe? Just a little joke. We're fine.
I'm start your passport, your international driver's license. This is your passport.
What do I do with
Hold
it?
on to it.
Would these reservations be under any other name?
Of course not.
My maiden name is Mitchell. If that's any help.
Maiden names wouldn't make the reservations under our
Hers is Bennett.
This is your final call for Air India's direct service to Bombay via London's Heathrow Airport. Air India's Flight 87, final boarding, Gate 10. Final call, all aboard, please.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm afraid you two ladies have vanished without a trace into the vast netherworld of our computer system.
Is that supposed to be funny to you?
It's not his fault, Margaret. He didn't do it on purpose.
I want those 2 seats.
I can't. They're being occupied by Mr. and Mrs. D.M. Chandra Hyderabad.
Well, They're our seats. We booked them months ago, Mr. and Mrs. DM, whatever. We'll just have to take the next flight. Or you put them in the back of the plane in tourist class.
We don't call it that. We call it leper class. All right, Mrs. Sybil. I'll tell you what I will do.
No, I will tell you what I will do if you do not give us those two seats.
Give him a chance.
No one is putting me in the back of the plane in tourist class with a lot of noisy children and peasants. Some of them look like shepherds. I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few goats on board.
That's honest.
I want to see India my way, from a comfortable seat, somewhat at a distance.
That's terrible.
So, in the inimitable words of my traveling companion, Mrs. Bryn here, what's up, Doc? What is the story, Air India?
I'm afraid business class is completely full, and so is tourist class.
This is outrageous. I'm calling that traveling.
All I have are 2 seats in first class,
Oh,
sleeperettes.
We couldn't possibly afford that.
It's a complimentary upgrade, Mrs. Bryn. It's our error. Would that be satisfactory?
Satisfactory? Oh, that's fabulous. First class. Oh, what's your name?
Leonard Tucker.
I'm going to write him a letter and tell him how wonderful you were to us, Tuck. Leonard Tuck. Like Friar Tuck.
Gracias.
De nada.
Will first class be satisfactory, Mrs.
Oh, of course it will. I would have been perfectly happy in our own seat.
Good luck. What a beginning. First class. Oh, for a muse. You know what?
Abracadabra. See how easy that was, Mrs. Sybil?
Final call, Air India Flight 87, direct service to Bombay. Final call, please.
Catherine, come on.
Goodbye, America. Goodbye, husband and children. Goodbye, Greenwich, Connecticut. Goodbye, Air India Terminal. Goodbye, Leonard Tuck.
Bon voyage, Mrs. Bryn.
They're on their way. Well, almost.
A flight bag. I had a flight bag.
She doesn't see it.
Did anyone see a flight bag?
Or me. I have that power.
Hello?
It begins. Well, it all began long ago. World without end. Amen and all that. This particular adventure I was meaning. These 2 little insignificant, magnificent lives. Can you hear me? Did you hear me? I said these 2 little insignificant, magnificent lives. I'll see you aboard at 36,000 feet. Wait for me!
I don't think you know what love is. Not real love. Love that enriches, love that lifts up, love that ennobles. I'm talking about love in its profoundest sense. Love as everything.
All right. Now that you've visualized your 10 personal power goals, I want you to choose them. It's not I want to persuade you, I want to make $1 million, but I choose to meet the perfect mate. I choose to drive a Lexus Infiniti. Ready? Deep breath. Hold it.
I think you understand obsession. I think you understand control. I think you understand passion. God knows you know how to pleasure a person with your body. There's a word for people like you. The French have one. Every language does. But time.
These are vocal affirmations. I want to hear. Don't be shy. That's right. I'm talking to you. All right, go. I choose.
I choose to
After
be
all
happy.
that, they're still going to make
I
love.
choose to be
Hollywood
happy.
thinks that's the answer to everything.
I
about their
choose to be good.
Oh, I am surprised at Air India for showing.
I
such a film.
choose
I wonder
to be
what
happy.
Oh, what was that?
What was
A
what?
plane, it jiggled.
It didn't jiggle.
Well, it did something it shouldn't. Oh, there it is again.
It's just a little turbulence.
Huh?
I choose to be. Oh, now I forgot what I choose. I choose to be happy. No, I already said that. Just think of it as a bumpy road.
What?
It will be over soon.
How soon?
I don't know.
No,
Soon,
we
soon.
should have gone. TW
These are headsets. You're too loud. People are sleeping.
Will you tell my friend we're not going to crash?
We're not going to crash. That's the good news. The bad news is we'll be starting dinner service just as soon as we're out of this. That was a joke.
I'm aware of that. Tell me, does everyone connected with Air India think they're a comedian?
People think Indians are humorless. They think we're funny, but they think
Well,
we're humorless.
you're not funny, and you're not an Indian.
On my mother's side, her father was born in Calcutta. I was born on Teller Avenue in the Bronx. Wow!
Oh.
Ride 'em, cowboy! Woohoo! That was a good one. It's always a little bit dicey over this part of the Atlantic this time of the year. Cowboy! I better get back to my seat. The pilot has the fasten seatbelt sign on for the crew now, too. Excuse me? I shall return with your pickled herring and hot towels. The towels are tastier.
Does he remind you of Walter?
Stuart, not in the least.
I didn't know you were afraid to fly.
I have flown over this part of the Atlantic this time of year at least 15 times. It was never like this.
Actually, I like a little turbulence.
You're the type that would.
It lets me know we're really out there. If it gets too quiet and still, I start worrying that the engines have stopped. We're just going to plummet to the
Could
earth.
we talk about something else?
Do you want to hold my hand? Do you want some gum?
Is it the kind that sticks to your crowns?
I don't know.
The kind that sticks, I don't want it.
Oh, you're out of luck. It must be in the bag I left in the terminal.
What is this?
Whistle. George made me take it. In case we get into any sort of trouble while we're in India, I'm supposed to blow it, so help will come. Oh, I said, Sabu on an elephant.
Your voice down. We are going to die.
Shut up, say Hail Mary.
Methodists don't say Hail Mary.
We are going See?
I can bear anything as long as I know it's going to end.
You remember that last year we went to St. Kitts?
Huh? Oh, yes, the men got eating crayfish.
They were labous.
Looked like crayfish.
But that isn't the reason I never wanted to go
Oh,
back
God,
there.
Alan nearly died. Oh, besides, it was time for a new island.
It was the incident with the little plane.
What incident? I don't remember.
Yes, you do. We were all swimming in front of the hotel. This small single-engine plane had taken off from the airport. Its engine kept stalling. It was terrifying. No one moved. This little plane just floating there. No sound. No sound at all, like a kite without a string. I don't think I've ever felt so helpless.
I remember.
Finally, I guess the pilot made the necessary adjustment, and the engine caught and stayed caught, and the plane just flew away as if nothing had happened. We finished swimming and played tennis. And after lunch, you bought that little vase I could still kick myself for letting you have.
You have envied me that woman all these years. It's yours.
I don't
Really? Kitty, I insist. I think I only bought it because I knew you wanted it. That and I was angry at Alex some cracky made about how I looked in my new babies. The plane had stopped jiggling. It is smooth as glass now.
I've been thinking about that little plane a lot. Maybe we were helpless. Maybe we were responsible. Maybe it wasn't our fault. But what kept that little plane up there? God? Any God, some benevolence? Prayer? Our prayers? I think everyone on that beach was praying that morning in their own particular way. So maybe we aren't so helpless. Maybe we are responsible. Maybe it is our fault what happens. Maybe.
You want to give me my hand back?
I'm sorry. Thank you. Did I do that? Oh, I was holding too tight. I'm sorry. What happened to your liver spots? You used to have these great big liver spots.
I keep begging you to go with me. The man's a genius. It's paradise there.
And it costs $3,000 a week. I would rather go to India for my soul than to some spa in Orange County for the backs of my hands.
Happily,
keep thinking about Walter.
Why would you do that to yourself? Well, stop it right now. You think about something else. Think about the Taj Mahal. Think about India.
They say it's like a dream, the Taj
Oh,
Mahal.
I hope it isn't like the Eiffel Tower. All your life you look at pictures of the Eiffel Tower, then you finally see it looks just like the pictures of it. There's no resonance when you look at the Eiffel Tower. I'm expecting some resonance from the Taj Mahal. I'll be disappointed if there isn't, and you're humming again.
I'm sorry.
Ask me to tell you.
All of a sudden, I can't remember when it was built.
It was begun in 1632 and completed in 1654.
All this reading up on it for what?
Do you know who it was built for?
Of course I do. Someone's wife.
Oh, everyone knows that, Katie. What was her name?
I knew you were going to ask me. Marilyn.
Oh.
Betty Mahal. I know who built it. Shah Jahan.
The favorite wife was Mumtaz Mahal.
Mumtaz, of course. It was on the tip of my tongue.
It took 22 years and 20,000 workers to build.
Is this going to be some sort of pop quiz?
I'm trying to get your mind off Walter.
Nothing will ever get my mind off Walter.
Well, this is a wonderful start to a trip.
I'm sorry.
Ganesh, you're doing it again. It's nobody's fault.
Listen to this. Don't drink the water, which means absolutely no ice in your drinks or the eating of washed fruits and vegetables. Sounds charming. Above all, be patient. Allow, accept, be.
That's what I've been telling you.
What is that out there?
Oh my God, out where?
Out there on the wing.
I don't want to know.
Look.
No, I don't want to look.
There's nothing wrong. There's something wonderful. It's beautiful. Just look.
What's happening? We on fire? Oh, wow!
Never mind.
Do you see what I see?
We don't get shit like this at the back of the plane.
It looks like an angel. Do you believe in angels?
Lady, I believe in everything.
If you'd like me to get up so the two of you can continue this
I was
conversation.
just on my way to the head. Hey, you want to see some real fucking angels? Pardon the expression.
Check out the caves in Ajanta. Angels and red monkeys. I didn't believe it shit till I checked out Ajanta.
Ajanta, is that on our itinerary, Margaret?
No, it is. Thank you.
Okay, lady, you made your point. I'm going back to peasant
I
class.
didn't say a word.
You didn't have to. It's in the eyes. It's always in the eyes. You have cool eyes. They're filled with hate. I mean that nicely. I mean that sincerely.
Just a
Your friend
minute.
needs a good virgin at Ganges. I don't think she's ready for Kathmandu yet. There's not enough dope in the Himalayas to mellow that dude out.
The first class bathroom should be for the first class passengers.
You want me to make a citizen's arrest? That's smart.
When did you get so serene?
I took a pill.
I don't know why they bother to have classes if they are not going to enforce them.
You don't have cruel eyes.
Thank you.
You have beautiful eyes. Don't cry.
I am not crying. Does it look like it?
People like that don't know what they're talking about half the time. That, or they speak before they think. Don't mind them. I've always liked your
I'm
eyes.
fine, Kitty. I'm fine watching you.
Lord. Little Puck said it best. Shiva, what fools these mortals be. You such thoughtless, needless cruelty. Down there on Earth. Up here at 41,000 feet. But we went higher to avoid the turbulence while you weren't looking. We are the ones who are powerless. We can only sigh and shake our heads. There's a serenity in being a god, but very little real power. We gave it all to you.
I choose to be happy. I choose to be loving. I choose to be good.
Hello, Walter.
Mind if I join you out here?
I'd be honored.
I really have to draw the line at bad curry and movies about unrepentant heterosexuals.
But heterosexuals aren't so bad. Where would we be without them? Please?
What are you?
I did whatever I can get. And speaking about affection, physical love was never my strong suit. I'm not that sort of guy. Fag. I'm sorry, the barrage is over, but the melody lingers on. The ending word for the line is handed.
Non-dick. That's a nice word. Well, nicer than fag.
I thought that was you when we were boarding.
Where my mother goes, can this one be far behind? Listen, India's got to beat another of her annual same old 2 weeks in the Caribbean with the Civils.
Mrs. Sybil is inconsolable. You must have heard what happened.
It served her right.
Look at her. I hate to see a woman cry.
I don't like Mrs. Sybil. Mrs. Sybil didn't like me. Let her cry her stone cold heart out. Mrs. Sybil was a bitch. Is a bitch. I'm the was.
Your words are like daggers, Walter. They cause me such pain.
Different people sing from different charts, old man.
Not half so old and hard as you.
I choose to be happy. I choose to be lovely. I choose to be good.
Your mother's been thinking about you again.
I'd like her to stop. I'd like her to forget all about me.
There will never come that day. She loves you. You're her son.
That's not love. That's guilt that's become a curse. She should have loved me not just for falling down and scraping my knee when I was a little boy, but for standing tall when I was a young man and telling her I loved other men. She should have loved me when my heart was breaking for the love of them. She should have loved me when I wanted to tell her my heart was finally forever full with someone, Jonathan. But I didn't dare. She should have loved me the most when he was gone. A terrible day when my life was over.
I choose to be happy. I choose to be loving. I choose to be good.
Instead, you waited. You waited until late one night. I was coming home. No. To our apartment, as you always put it. 2 men can't have a home, Walter. Maybe I had a little too much to drink. Certainly a lot too much pain and anger to bear.
I didn't know.
A car whizzes by. Voices, young voices, scream the obligatory epithets. Fag, queer, cocksucker, dead from AIDS, queer meat.
Dear, oh dear.
I make the obligatory gay 90s gesture back. Die for my cum, you assholes!
Dear, oh dear.
Car stops. The street is empty. Suddenly this part seems obligatory too. 6 young men pile out.
Black. All of them black.
No, Mother, all of them you.
I think we saw this movie at Watch Hill.
6 young men with chains and bats. One had a putter.
6 young black men, hoodlums, 2 of them had records.
Dear, oh dear, all of you.
I stood there. It seemed like it took them forever to get to where I was standing. There was a funny silence. Probably because I wasn't afraid. I said, hello. I don't know why. I hated them. I hated everything about them. I hated what they were going to do to me. I knew it would hurt. I wanted it to be quick. I didn't want them to know I was afraid. So I said, hello, again. The one with the putter swung first. You could hear the sound. Whoosh! Against the side of my head. I could feel the skull cracking. Landed a good one. And then they all started swinging and beating and kicking. I stayed on my feet a remarkably long time. I was sort of proud of me. And finally, I went down. And they kept on swinging and beating and kicking. Only now, it wasn't hurting so much. It was more abstract. I could watch the pain, corroborate it. Finally, they got back in their car, not speaking anymore. They weren't having such a good time either anymore, I guess. None of us were. I was just lying there. Couldn't move, couldn't speak. When I could hear their car screeching a U-turn. And they're coming towards me real fast, just swerving at the last minute, just missing my head by about this much. What I figure is this. They were going to run me over. But at the last second, one of them grabbed the wheel. So they weren't 100% animal. One of them had a little humanity. Just a touch, maybe. My theory's right, that is.
But that's when you waited to love me, Mama.
I always loved you.
That's when you waited to know it.
Why are you doing this?
Let me go. Let us both go.
I can't. You're my firstborn.
There's Pop, there's Jerry, there's Sis, and the kids.
You're my favorite.
You were mine. We killed each other.
Where's your scarf? You'll catch a chill without your scarf.
You sound like Jonathan.
Give me a kiss.
I don't want to kiss you.
You will.
Pop. I never called Dad Pop in my entire life. Must be the altitude.
And they all lived happily ever after. Oh, sure they did. It's all right. It's all right.
I choose to be happy. I choose to be loving. I choose to...
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Let's go to India! The Dominion in 1947 became fully independent on January 26, 1950, with membership in the British Commonwealth of Nations. Population as of the last census, 1,848,550. Area, 1,246,880 square miles. Principal language, Hindi. I was born right here. Kerala, the most beautiful part of India, the beaches alone, the temples of Tiruchira Valley. Trust me, but don't ask me to spell it. How I was born is a very interesting story. Some say I was created out of a mother's loneliness. Some say I was the expression of a woman's deepest need. I say, I don't know what child does.
Wait! Stop! Stop right there!
Excuse me.
Come back with those!
They've landed and things are getting quite out of hand at the Bombay airport.
I had 8 pieces of luggage. Something's missing.
What? Where's the guy? He said he'd meet us with a sign with our names on it.
There are only 7. I know I had 8.
Got off the plane, they said he'll meet you at customs. At customs, they said he'll meet you just outside customs. Well, we're outside customs. There isn't even someone here to let us know the next place he is not going to meet us.
I know what's missing. My cassette player and all my tapes. Oh, my Frank Sinatra and Mozart, Cole Porter. This is terrible. Do you speak English, young man? Do you understand? He doesn't speak English.
Mrs. Allen Civil, Mrs. George Green.
Thank God.
You're welcome, Mrs. Civil. Oh, just a little joke.
And you are?
Your representative from Red Carpet Tours. I have a car and driver waiting at the curb. Your suite at the Taj Palace is in order. You have a most excellent view of the harbor and the gate of India. Come.
I'm missing something. A cassette player and all my tapes.
Did you take her cassette player?
What do you think?
I think you should give it back to her.
Get lost, Pops.
Is this the impression you want our country to make?
Well, it's a little more honest than yours.
You have a most excellent view of the harbor and gate of India.
I'll give the ladies the most excellent view of my ass.
What did they say?
I don't speak Hindi, Kitty.
Why are you snapping at me?
I have been on a plane a day and a half. I would like to get to the hotel.
So would
I don't see this calls for a big discussion. What's he saying?
He says he will check the hotel lost and found and bring your player to the hotel and it is returned.
Return! That means someone took it.
I meant found. I translated badly.
Where's he going?
Not to worry. I told him to start loading the boot.
That's it then for my cassette player. Do and I put a claim check, receipt or something.
Leave everything to
What do
me.
you want him to do, Catherine? Mrs. Green is a loser. I mean, she loses things. That came out badly in translation.
Come. India and the soft bed await you.
Just a minute. I want to take all this in.
What is there to take in, idiots, an airport? Hurry up if you're going to do that. Mrs. Bryn is also somewhat of an enthusiast.
What would you like to know about Bombay?
Really everything, but not right now.
It's very big, Bombay.
And so was China.
Oh, for a muse of fire. I'm not going to let a missing cassette player spoil this. The world is filled with ill-manufactured cassette players from Taiwan. But there is only one me. Catherine Renee Mitchell, born too many years ago in a ridiculous place. When you consider to where I've come, experiencing this one particular and special moment. Look. Attack with your eyes. See things fiercely. Listen. Hear everything. Ignore nothing. Smell. Breathe deeper than you've ever dared. Experience be. But above all, remember. Carve adamantine letters in my brain. This I have seen and done and known. Amen. No. Above all, feel. Take my heart and do with it what you will. Yes!
There are 3 people you must know about in my story. My mother, Parvati. Isn't she lovely? My father, Shiva, and me. One day before I was born. My mother, Parvati, was sitting in her bath. She told an attendant to let no one enter, not even Shiva, her lord and master. But Shiva is everyone's lord and master, and no one dared stop him from entering his wife's bath. Parvati covered herself in shame. She had no prestige now, but she was angry too. Some say she decided then and there that she must have a Gana of her own. A Gana is someone obedient to our will and our will alone. No woman had ever had a Gana of her own. This is what happened. My mother Parvati gathered the saffron paste from her own body and with her own hand created a boy. Her firstborn, her Gana, me. Oh, how lovely it is to be born. We were so happy.
Well, I'm a little worried how we're going to handle your poverty, Mr.
Maggie, please, we're in the middle of something important. I'm sorry, Mr. Bittencar.
It's quite all right. I'm sure you'll be handling it very well indeed, Mrs. Sybil. Your poverty is angry, ours is not. In India, poverty is not an emotion, it's a fact.
What about the status of women in India?
The lot of women in India is very, very dismal. We set you on fire when you don't obey and expect you to set yourselves on fire to show proper mourning when we die. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
That's dreadful.
But we're a democracy now. That's the main thing to know about us. The largest democracy in the world. So maybe there's hope for you ladies yet. Change things. Vote. Tell us men where to go. We're very tired. We'll continue the story of Lord Ganesha tomorrow.
You have so many gods, keeping them all straight. Vishnu, Parvati, Ganesh. He sounds like a Jewish food.
Oh, no offense. But Lord Ganesha is better than a bagel.
We're not offended. We're not Jewish.
Tomorrow morning then. 8 o'clock. The ladies asked for a Diet Pepsi.
Oh, that's all right.
The ladies are fortunate to get anything at this hour.
You're a very good waiter, young man.
We're a union now. I don't have to be polite anymore.
He said the hotel is out of Diet Pepsi and a million apologies.
A wonderful language. Sounds Japanese.
What is she saying?
She agrees. You're a very rude waiter, young man. Shame on you.
Shame on me? Shame on you. These are Jew Christian old whores with white saggy skin. Their shit is on your tongue from all the ass licking. You are no Indian. You are no one. Tell them in your perfect English that I'm waiting for my tip. For another 20 rupees, I will fuck them.
See what I mean? For the rhythms and the sound of Japanese.
Thank you, Papa India. Thank you, Babu. I smile at the ladies. I exit the room backwards and bowing. I
I wish the old bags a good night.
Thank you, thank you.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Wonderful smile, those wonderful teeth against that dark skin. It's like ebony, well, mahogany. Are all Indian men such heartbreakers, Mr. I'm sorry?
Mr. Vittengarth.
Till tomorrow morning, Mr.
Hello.
Mrs. Sybil, Mrs. Green.
Goodbye, gracias, muchas gracias.
De nada.
Hello. There's no one there.
Now you're truly in India.
Well, really, Catherine? What? That is so patronizing.
What is?
Speaking Spanish to an Indian? What is that? Your generic third world thank you.
I'm sorry, but I didn't know the word for thank you.
Well, is it gracias?
You knew what I meant.
I've known what you meant in your native language. Gracias reduces him to the level of a peon and you to that of a horrid tourist.
My intention was to thank him. On that level, I think my gracias was highly effective. Now, which bed would you like?
It's really of no interest to me.
I wish you would adopt the same generous attitude toward me. I'll take this one then. I hope you remember the alarm clock. That was your responsibility.
I'm sorry. But if we're going to travel together, you have got to understand something about me. I am very sensitive to the feelings of others.
You could have fooled me.
Frankly, you have said and done several things that have offended me since we got on the train. No. Offended is too strong a word. Let's say embarrassed. There. I've said it. I'm glad the air is clear.
Don't stop now, Margaret. I'm all ears.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. If we are going to travel together for 2 weeks, we must have absolute candor. I hate that outfit.
That remark about Jewish food just now, I could have died comparing one of their gods to a bagel.
He compared him to a bagel. I just said it sounded like something chewy.
Is your voice down?
No! Stop saying that. I am sick and tired of you telling me to keep my voice down when I'm not in the wrong. And even if I were in the wrong, it's not your business to tell me to keep my voice down. I'm not your cow daughter, your catatonic husband. And I am not about to become your cabin catatonic traveling companion. I mean, you're you. Respect the difference or go home. I came to India for an adventure. This is not an adventure, this is the same old Shinola.
Well, it's nice to know what your best friend really thinks of you and your family.
I didn't mean that. I'm very fond of Joy, and Alan is just quiet around us. I'm sure that he's quite talkative when you two are alone.
Not especially.
I'll give you, for a muse of fire. I probably do it just to annoy you, like you and the Malik.
Every time you say it, I say to myself, oh, for someone who didn't say, oh, for a muse of fire at the drop of a hat.
It wouldn't bother me if you did.
Well, that's the difference between us.
If you can't respect it, at least observe it.
You've changed. Ever since you went to those lectures in Bridgeport, nurturing your inner child. You know what I say? Stifle them. Everybody went around nurturing their inner child. This entire planet would come grinding to a halt while we all had a good cry.
Well, maybe it should.
Oh, for a muse of fire's right. Bartender, one fiery muse, a decent analyst, and one extra dry gin martini.
Don't talk like that. I think it's wonderful what you've done. I never could have done.
I finally know what the skin of your teeth means. It's a layer
it's Shakespeare. Muse of fire.
That is so patronizing to tell me it's Shakespeare. I know that.
I didn't know it until I saw it on public television. It's the first line of Henry V. How hard it is to really describe anything. I have that trouble, don't you?
No, I don't know, probably.
Muse of fire is my talisman. I use it to tell myself, savor this moment, Catherine Brene Mitchell, relish it, it's important. You will never be here or feel this way ever again.
This is what I need, those lectures in Bridgeport.
That's Shakespeare. That's not nurturing my inner child. Telling you you can be a pain in the ass, that's nurturing my inner child.
So, now I'm a pain in the ass.
I did not say you were a pain in the ass. I said you could be a pain in the ass. And I'm hoping that for the next 2 weeks you won't be.
I have never been a pain in the ass for 2 entire weeks. Have I?
That's right. We were only in Barbados 11 days.
On Barbados, not me alone.
Everyone's toilet was broken.
7 years later, she goes Barbados in my face. Hello? There's no one there.
I hope you didn't come to India for the telephones or the plumbing.
There you go again, patronizing. I came to India for personal reasons, just as you came to yours.
I thought we came to India for vacation.
Kitty, I adore you, even when you are impossible.
No, you don't. I don't think we really are best friends. I don't think we know each other at all.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I feel very warmly toward you.
I know. Me too.
It's going to be fine. From here on, we are going to get along famously and become the very best of friends.
Who says?
My inner child. You mind if I live in the Louvers?
Where do you think we are now? The Dorchester?
No.
We have a balcony. Did you know we had a balcony? We have 2 of
Where
them.
does the rest of it go? Do you know for a muse of fire what?
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention.
Ah! Don't mind me! Oh God, it's a water bug the size of a standard poodle!
A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling sea. Well, something like that.
Very good.
Hello.
Hi. Really spectacular, isn't it? Especially this time of almost morning, not quite dawn. We couldn't sleep.
We just got in.
Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment.
Very good yourself.
I have no idea what it means. Crouch for employment?
I like the sound of it.
I did that part. I wore red tights, and everyone said I had terrific legs. No one mentioned my performance.
You're an actor.
For one brief shining hour in college. I'm a doctor. Or I was. I'm sick now. A physician who cannot heal himself.
I'm sorry.
But pardon, gentles all, the flat unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. You've got to help me here.
And this cock did hold the vasty fields of France. Oh, may we cram into this wooden O. Oh, that's my favorite part.
Mine too, this wooden O.
May we cram into this wooden O the very cast that did a
break the air at Agincourt!
What's going on out there?
Okay, Ben, we'll keep it down. Sorry. He's got his hands full with this one.
So has Mrs. Sybil.
You're traveling with someone you call Mrs. Sybil? That's very Tennessee Williams, a very Dickensian. I can't decide which.
Well, I don't call her Mrs. Sybil. Her name's Margaret. I'm Catherine. Kate, Kitty, I've been called everything. I prefer Catherine.
Hello, Catherine. I'm Harry.
Catherine Bryn.
Harold Walter Strong.
I had a son named Walter.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
How long has it been?
3 years. Feels like yesterday. Is that the
Victoria's Jubilee visit to her prized colony. She never came. I guess she had something better to do. The British have a real attitude problem when it comes to anyone else, especially wogs. They're not so nice word for people of a certain color. God knows they loathe us. I'm assuming you're a Yank. All that love and darling and ta-ta ducky and they hate our guts. Ask me how I know all this? Did I spend a term at Oxford? No. Did I rent rooms for the season in Belgravia? No. I'm talking off the top of my head. It's just a feeling I have. I'll shut up and watch the sunrise over Bombay Harbor with you. What's that you're humming?
I'm sorry.
Blow the wind southerly, right?
I don't know.
It is. I love that song. Blow the wind southerly.
Please don't. I couldn't bear it. It was my son's favorite song.
I understand. I'll tell him he has good taste in music and mothers.
Don't talk like that.
You're barefoot. Where are your slippers? And your robe? You're drenched. Jesus, you're soaking wet.
This is Ben, Catherine. He worries about me. It's all right. I worry about him, too. We're neither of us terribly well.
Hello, Catherine. Excuse me. You're burning up.
I'm freezing, actually.
It's all yours, Kitty.
I'll get your robe.
I can do it.
Said it's all yours. I got Crest gel instead of their toothpaste. I am always doing that. I think they make the packages almost identical. Just to confuse people. I hate the gel. Stick to your... Oh, I guess that's the gate of India. Bombay Harbor. It's the Indian Ocean beyond that. We're here. We're really, really here. What's all that down there, Kitty? It's in the square, plaza there. It's all in front of the hotel. It's all around the gate. It's like something moving.
It's people sleeping.
No, it's too dense for people.
It's people.
Then it's all people. There's no place where seeing the pavement. Then it's wall to wall.
I think it's beautiful.
Well, I'm sure they don't. Excuse me, I'm just gonna see.
Blow the wind southerly, southerly, southerly. Blow the wind south for Bonnie blue sea. Blow the wind southerly, southerly, southerly. Blow Bonnie breezes, brother to me. They told me last night there were ships in the offing, and I hurried down to the deep rolling sea. But my eye could not see it wherever might be. Dark, spirit.
Don't stop.
Oh, sorry. I should have realized everyone's doors were open.
My wife has said, listen, Toshiro, listen. An angel is singing.
I'm hardly an angel. I have a voice like a frog, truly. I didn't mean to wake you.
Why are you crying, Mrs. Green?
I'm not crying.
May I assuage your tears?
I said I'm not crying.
I would like to help you.
How do you know my name?
We are going to customs together. I see I've made a very little impression. Permit me to introduce myself again. Toshiro Watanabe of Nagasaki. My wife is Yuriko.
If you say so.
Be careful of India, Mrs. Green. Be very careful here. If you're not, you may find yourself here.
You sound like someone in a very bad novel or movie or play about India.
Lord knows we've had our fill of them.
I came to India because I didn't want to go to some mindless resort in the Caribbean with our two husbands for the 90th year in a row. Because the children and the in-laws and the cats and the dogs and the turtles were all out of the house, or dead or married, and no one was especially depending on me right now. This is my turn.
Why India?
Why not?
Oh, why not the Grand Canyon? Why not Niagara Falls? Why not Disneyland? Why India?
I heard it could heal. No, I sound like someone in a very bad movie or novel.
What part of you needs a healing, Mrs. Brain?
I thought you Japanese were so circumspect. You were right for the jugular, Mr.
Watanabe. I am one singular Nipponese of Mrs. Brain. I'm coming, Buttercup, I'm coming. You think it is only your heart that is broken? May I be so bold as to suggest it is your soul crying out in this Indian dawn? Hearts can be mended. Time can heal them. But the souls, Tricky business, souls. I wish you well. You've come to the right place. Ciao, Mrs. Flynn. Sayonara.
Sorry I took so long. What? Never mind. It's all yours for good now, Kitty.
This view is extraordinary. There are people see. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
More like hundreds. Dreadful. Well, don't say they didn't warn us. We were warned.
Extraordinary.
I thought I heard voices out here. Were you talking to someone?
Our neighbor, one very outspoken chap.
Oh, Kitty. Hope you didn't call it that to his face.
I don't remember.
They're not Jets. You don't call them Jets. The war is over. They're Japanese. Oh, you're going to start an international incident.
I think I called him an Oriental.
That's just as bad. It's worse. Oriental conjures up Scheherazade, flying carpets, chop suey.
Well, whatever I called him, he didn't seem to mind.
Well, he was being polite. Everybody minds being called something.
Can't we just enjoy this?
We should be sleeping.
I'm too excited to sleep. Let's go down there.
Are you mad? You know what time it is?
I want to walk among them, experience them.
You can experience them from up here.
Don't you feel drawn to be part of all that?
No.
Come with me. Before it gets light, no one will know we're tourists. I'm scared to do it alone.
I'd be scared to do it with an army, Kitty. You cannot just throw yourself into a mob of dirty, disease-ridden, hungry beggars the first hour here.
Who says?
What if there are lepers there?
I hope there are. Yes? Or no? I'll wave up at you then.
No, Kitty, not Catherine! Hello? Hello?
My husband has said you were upset. May I be of help?
Your husband was talking to my traveling companion, Mrs. Britton.
Ah, and you? What about you?
I'm fine. No, I'm not. That's a beautiful breath.
What's so wrong?
I'm not very good at keeping an eye on people. They rush out into danger. I am helpless to save them. I have just lost Mrs. Britton, that's still sleeping. Just stirring crowd.
Your friend is in no physical danger.
Is there any other kind?
Yes. I heard you cry out in the bathroom. I'm sorry, but the air vents. I couldn't help but
Well,
hear.
that an enormous insect. I'm terrified of dogs. Well, I'm sure the entire hotel heard me.
Twice you cried out. The second time was a very soft. Oh, you want to just. Oh.
I have a lump in my breast. I keep hoping it will go away. From time to time I touch it. It's always large.
May I?
My first night in India, and I'm allowing a strange woman in a gorgeous kimono that I covet. It's the other one. Touch my right breast. There. It's home base.
Oh.
You don't have to say it.
Does your friend know?
She has enough troubles. We both do.
You are such a sad woman, Mrs. Civil. I'm so sorry.
Everyone thinks I'm a bossy bitch.
It's a clever defense.
I even fool Alan. Kitty is the one everyone loves. People like Kitty just have to be born to be loved. I've always had to work at it. I had my big chance and blew it. A son, my firstborn. Gabriel. What a beautiful name, a beautiful child. Gabriel, never Gabe. Alan chose it. I used to love just saying it. Gabriel.
What happened?
I don't want to tell you. Where's Kitty? I don't see Abingdon Square, Greenwich Village, New York City. You wouldn't know it.
We're Bleecker and Hudson and 8th Avenue all converge just above Bank Street. Go on.
I just bought him a good humor bar. Maybe you know them too.
Oh yes, they're
His
scrumptious.
little face was covered with chocolate. I took a handkerchief from my purse, wetted it with my tongue to clean his face. He pulled away from me. No, I pulled him back. Yes. And our eyes met, looked at me with such hate, anger. And he pulled away from me again. This time he hurt me. I rose to chase him, but he was off the curb into the street under the wheels of a car before I could save him. Isn't that what mothers are supposed to do, save their children? His head was crushed. He was dead when I picked him up. I knew it. I wouldn't let anyone else touch him. They say I carried him all the way to the hospital a few blocks away. I don't remember it.
St. Vincent's. It's very famous. Dylan Thomas and Billie Holiday died there.
He was 4 years old, gorgeous blonde girls. I kept long you could then. I think he would have grown up to be a prince among men.
All mothers do.
Do you have children?
No, and sometimes it is a great sadness to me, but only sometimes.
Don't know why I'm telling you this. Strangers in the night, Scooby-Doo.
No. New friends in the Indian dawn.
I have never told anyone about Gabriel. His brother and sister who came after, what would be the point? Alan and I never talk about it. We moved, we started a new family. I have another life now. Wish I saw Kitty down there. The woman who drove the car was a black woman. We called them Negroes then. It wasn't her fault. She was devastated. I felt so sorry for her. At the service, Episcopalian, Alan's side of the family insisted we're civil Methodists. We all heard a strange sound, very faint at first. We didn't know what we were hearing, if we were hearing anything at all. I thought it was the organ, but we hadn't asked for one. It was the Negro woman whose car had struck my son. She had come to the funeral. I don't know how she heard about it. She was seated in a pew at the back, and she was just humming. But that sound, so rich, so full. No wonder I had thought it was the organ. The minister tried to continue, but eventually he just stopped, and we all just turned. Listened to her. Her eyes were closed. Tears were streaming down her cheeks, and it was such a vibrant, comforting sound. Her voice higher, higher. It was loud now, magnificent, like a bright, shining sword. And then the words sweet Lord, sweet chariot, come and carry me home. Sweet Lord, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home. Sweet Lord, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home. Sweet Lord, sweet chariot, coming forward to carry me home. You're shivering. Here, put this on. Oh. Lovely. It's yours? No, I couldn't. Please, I insist. It is not warranted, such kindness. Oh, God, look. There she is.
This is wonderful. Even more wonderful than I imagined. We don't want to wake them up. The light will do that soon enough. For just this little while, we have this all to ourselves, and then we'll disappear into it. Are you scared?
No. Am I nervous? Yes. Or to run like hell back up to my room and bed? You bet.
Oh, I thought it
It's
was...
a person.
Oh, we must hold hands and never let go of each other.
It's a deal. Are you always so adventurous?
Almost never. It's India.
The young man is going to die soon. So is his gentleman friend. Must they? Yes.
Are we going too fast for you?
Maybe just a tad, Mrs. Brand.
You must call me Catherine, and we should be great friends forever and ever.
It's going to be a scorcher.
Have you done Elephanta Island yet?
First day. Frankly, I was disappointed. They're Buddhist. I came to India for the Hindu stuff. Ben adored them. Of course, I fell, which didn't exactly help the festivities. Be careful getting off the ferry.
Thank you, we will.
Why must they die? Why not?
I'm afraid my Ben is going to be rather annoyed with you when he finds out I joined you down here in the madding crowd. He prefers to stay far from it. I've been dying to do this all week. Oh, look up there. We're being watched. Good morning! Thank you for the cough syrup. It was very helpful.
She can't hear
Hello,
you.
Kitty, hello! She can't hear you. Excuse me, I'm wanted elsewhere.
Oh, I can't accept this. You must let me give you some.
There's no
Do
need.
you smoke? I brought scans of cigarettes.
Sayonara, Mrs. Sybil.
I can't believe it. Almost the first thing I see in Indian is a cliche. I ask for a muse of fire, and what do I get? A bloody snake charmer.
Since when is a man in rags, squatting on the pavement, playing a wooden flute, making a cobra coil out of a straw basket, such a cliche for a lady from Connecticut? Can we stop with that?
I'm sorry. People probably think I'm your mother.
I'm sure my own mother wishes you were.
What do you mean?
We don't get on. Let's keep walking. We're starting to wake up. Maybe get into a good old road trip next.
Serves me right. Thinking I could find India, experience it on my very first morning here. But you see, Harry, I have a dream of this place. A dream of India.
We all do who come here, Catherine. Mine's easy. I want Ben and I to get well. If there's a choice, me first. I'm petty.
No, you're not. My dream of India is this, that I'm engulfed by it, that I'm lost in a vast crowd such as this one and become a part of it, that I'm devoured by it somehow, Harry.
I understand.
It's a terrifying dream. But it's one that I must walk through. It's a dream of death, but of purgation and renewal too. Look! When I was a very young woman, Harry, I wrote something in my diary I'd never wanted anyone to know about till now. This is before George, before Walter, before any of them. This is what I wrote. Before I die, I want to kiss a leper fully on the mouth and not feel revulsion. I want to cradle an oozing, ulcerous fellow human against my breast and feel love. Catherine Mitchell. This is why I came to India, Harry. I don't think I can do it. Harry? Harry! Harry! Oh, my God, he's falling! Harry! Where are you? Please! Don't do this! Please, Harry! Where are you? Margaret!
well, especially Indian humor. You have to be there is, I believe, your word for it. Well, 5 words actually. You have to be here, I'm afraid.
What are you watching?
The Ramayana. It's very sad. Valmiki's wife is dying. She sent for their firstborn to bless him before she dies. My husband says I tried everything.
The actress playing her has fine breasts. Do you know what they call them in Boston? Jugs. The actress playing her has very fine jugs. Hello. Hello. Bloody phone system. Bloody third world. Bloody India. Why is it so dark in here? Are they here?
The nice one.
Mrs. Bryn?
Mrs. Sybil.
Hello? Bonjour? Guten Tag, Mrs. Sybil?
She's in the bathroom being sick.
But that's how most of them see India, staring at the bottom of a toilet bowl. Tell me, Mrs. Jog, will you fly halfway around the world and spend all your husband's money just to heave your guts up for a fortnight in a country you'll have no way of understanding? I've seen this episode. It's a bloody rerun.
Hello? Is someone out there? Kitty, is that you?
Some fruit, madam. Compliments of the Lake Palace Hotel. Welcome to
Oh,
Udaipur.
I can't hear you.
Let me open your shutters. You have a wonderful view here. Oh, Lord, but it takes my breath away every time, Mrs. Jog. You can say bloody this and bloody that, Mr. Victor Biswas. You can never say bloody that.
Yes, can I help you?
There she is, Miss America. Welcome to the lake city of Udaipur, known as the city of the sunrise. A cool oasis in the dry heart of Rajasthan. Scene of a delightful episode in June in the Crown, and the exciting submarine helicopter chase sequence in the most excellent James Bond motion picture, You Only Live Once. Mr. Sean Connery himself occupied this very room.
Twice. You only live twice.
Shut up. The maid wants to know if she can get you anything.
Oh, no, please, thank you. I just want to be still for a little while and a bit weak. It is so bright in here.
The way the sun hits the water. The Mughals used to tie their prisoners to stakes and sew their eyelids open and make them look at the water until they went blind or mad or both.
That's horrible.
We were conquered by very cruel people. I hope you'll find that very little of that cruelty remains. What are you looking at?
I like hearing you speak English, Mr. Biswas. I am in awe of people who can speak with other people in a language not their own. That is a godlike thing to be able to do.
The maid is saying she likes to hear me speak English. Why? You don't understand? If you did, you'd know I am telling this rich American lady what a lazy, worthless worker you are. And that you are this close to being made redundant. Looking at clean room 617. Mr. Thomas had an accident on the sheets last night.
Please don't make me redundant, Mr. Biswas. I need this job.
Then don't ever correct me again, especially in front of a woman. She says she hopes you enjoy your stay with us. Her name is Queenie.
Thank you, Queenie.
Off a mop. Off a mop. Is that our view?
This is our very finest accommodation.
Well, sir, as my grandchildren would say, off a fucking mop! The things I've seen and done today. You people at Bombay knocked into a cocktail. How you feeling?
Better.
You sure? You had me worried, poor baby.
Mr. Biswas, the hotel man.
Victor Biswas, at your service, madam.
Hello. I can see a little color in her cheeks, thank God. We've got a train to catch tonight. Whew. I've been shopping my tits off, Margaret.
Tits, are they like jugs, Mrs. Bryn?
I think they're a little more contemporary than jugs, Mr. Biswas.
I'm also puzzling over your curious expression, off a mouth. The adjective you embellished it with, I understood quite clearly.
It's short for "Oh, for a muse of fire," which is Shakespeare, and which I say when I get excited and can't describe things. Since I'm excited a lot lately, Mrs. Sybil can't stand my saying it all the time, and out of deference to her, I've shortened it to "off a mop."
I see.
Thank you, Kitty. Another Margaret. I didn't buy all that much. It only looks like it. I spent $50 tops.
I hope you find everything you are looking for in our country, including good bargains. I come home burdened down with VCRs and Calvin Klein underwear whenever I visit yours. Excuse me, we have a busload of Japs arriving.
Did you hear that? He said Jack. He doesn't know better. Besides, it is not his first language.
Queenie, did you wash and iron my blouse?
Yes, Mrs. Brid.
The dish. That tinny for thank you. Ladesh, Queenie. Oh, Ladesh.
De nada, Mrs. Brid.
Did you hear that too, Margaret? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Oh, shut up. It's the heat, I'm delirious. All this talk of Calvin Klein underwear. Do you want to see what I
Kim,
got?
what do you think a man like Mr. Beeswax thinks when you say something like, shut your tits off?
I don't know. I don't care. I'm in India. I'm just your basic white trash, Margaret. Like this?
Don't be ridiculous.
It's true. You're traveling with a woman whose father was a postal clerk and whose mother did ironing. I thought the straw bag could be for Linda Nagel.
Your father worked in a post office?
For 22 years. He dropped dead selling Mrs. Fagin a 3-cent stamp. Remember those? I was still in school at the time. I did a little ironing myself after that. I think these are absolutely stunning, don't you?
I have
Only $2.
no idea about that, but of course it doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters, Margaret. Eventually, it matters. I have no class.
Oh, don't say such things.
It's true.
Don't even think them. You and George have a wonderful life.
I suppose we do, but it's not what I'm talking about. I thought these would make darling luncheon napkins. You know how I met him? I crashed the dance at the Westchester Country Club. My best friend, Flo Sullivan, and I, we made ourselves fancy evening dresses, hiked our skirts up, carried our shoes across in our hands, and walked across the wet grass of the country club and snuck into the party through the terrace. The ballroom was so beautiful. Roses everywhere, real ones. A mere ball. Guy Lombardo was playing. Himself, not a substitute, the real thing. This was a class affair right down the line. Guy Lombardo and the Royal Canadians. Begin the begin. I knew right away this was where I wanted to be, and I would do everything I could to stay there. I would scratch, I'd fight, I'd bite. Barbara Stanwyck was my role model. George was wearing white-tie tails, if you can imagine him in such a thing. He had a silver cigarette case, tapping the end of his cigarette against it to get the tobacco down. I thought it was the most elegant gesture I'd ever seen a man make. We hit it off right away. I was a wonderful dancer, I made sure of that. I knew how to let the man think he was leading. But with George, I didn't have to. I knew he was going to ask me where I went to college. What I didn't know was how I would answer him. When he did, it was during the Linda, and I shut my eyes, held my breath, and jumped. I graduated Portchester High School, and I'm working in the city as a dental assistant. Great, he said. I was afraid you were going to say you went too faster. And he laughed and lifted me up by the waist and held me over his head for this incredibly long second. Like we were two colored kids jitterbugging down in Harlem. And I felt a blaze of happiness like I've never felt before since. After 2 hours, I said, let me wear your class ring. Just for fun, we'll pretend. It was a Yale ring. When I showed it to Flo in the ladies' room during the band break, she couldn't believe it. She wanted to try it on. I was washing my hands and it
slipped through my fingers and fell down the drain. What do you say to a man you met 2 hours before at a dance you crashed when you've lost his senior class ring? You don't tell him very much, Maggie. You sleep with him on the first date. And you say, I do, after making sure he asks you to bury him on the third. I mean, marry him. I can't believe I said that. Bury him. This is my favorite.
That is an extraordinary story. You never told me that.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bryn. I met my husband crashing a dance at the Westchester Country Club. I don't think so, Margaret. Do you know who this is? It's Ganesha.
May I have this dance, Miss Stanwyck? Oh, come on, it's only me. It's a slow foxtrot, your favorite kind.
Since when do you like to dance with women?
I don't. I'll suffer. Besides, you're not a woman. You're my mother.
Go ahead, say it, criticize. Everything I do is wrong.
How could you tell that story to a total stranger and not your own son?
She isn't a total stranger, and you wouldn't have understood.
No, I wouldn't have understood. That's what you were afraid of. That's the kind of story that makes you like someone. We might have become friends over a story like that.
I think it's a he. In this day and age, I better watch what I say. He, she, it's got the head of an elephant.
Besides, you wouldn't have approved, Walter.
You think Mrs. Sybil does? God, I was a judgmental little shit where you and Dad were concerned.
Serves us right. Well, me certainly. Am I still your best girl, your numero uno?
I don't think we're supposed to say things like that.
So sue me. That's from Guys and Dolls.
Shut up and dance. That's from Gypsy.
He's got 4 arms. I'm sure it's a he. 6 arms? No, it's 4. Definitely 4.
This is a long song.
We can stop.
I'm too much of a gentleman.
What is that around his waist? It is a snake, a cobra, and one of his tusks is broken.
I broke it off one night and threw it at the moon because she made me angry by laughing at me.
You still don't know how to hold a woman.
You mean like this? Is this how you mean?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
May I cut in?
Thank you. Do I know you?
I know. Gabriel.
Break her heart the way you broke mine. I hate you. I hate both of you.
Who are you? Never mind. I just want to dance with you. I have always wanted to dance with you.
Join me. With worshippers at my feet, I dance my swaying dance. Come, join us.
Who are you?
I am Ganesha, a very important god in India. Oh, don't laugh. Just because I'm fat and have the head of an elephant doesn't mean I'm not a god of great influence and popularity. They call me the Lord of Obstacles, and good for overcoming problems and bringing success to people. I am also known as a god of wisdom and
You
wealth.
are a wonderful dancer.
Thank you.
I'm not. You don't have to say anything.
I wasn't going to. Hang on.
Oh, Gabriel.
I think you're darling. Ganesh?
Or Ganesha, it's all the same to me.
I like Ganesh. Tell me more. I want to know everything about you.
Because I'm a god, I don't have to look or do things the way ordinary people do. For instance, as you can plainly see, I have the head of an elephant. You don't. You travel by Ford Escort or on foot. I ride a rat. Oh, it may seem strange for a great big fellow like me to have such a small vehicle, but I find him very helpful for getting out of tight situations. He's almost always with me, but sometimes hard to find. Look for him carefully.
I see him. I see the rat.
This demonstrates a concept so important to me, that opposites, an elephant and a mouse, can live together happily, that love of good food. I am always eating, and profound spiritual knowledge can go together, that a fat, rotund person can still be a supreme connoisseur of dance and music. In fact, I prove the world is full of opposites. opposites which exist peacefully, side by side.
You can't stop right there. I'm so that you come any smaller. I couldn't possibly like you back to Connecticut like that.
Let me check for you.
May I come in?
No.
I'm sorry.
Was that terrible?
That's terrible. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
For your years.
Did you have to say that?
Are you happy?
Yes. No, I don't know. Does it matter? Are you? Oh, please don't look at me like that.
You should be happy.
I can't be.
I never knew what hit me. Like that.
Is this small enough, excellent lady? I come key ring and necklace pendant size too, but when I get that small, I only come in plastic and would lose all the detail.
Excuse me, did you say I only come in plastic?
Oh, Lordy, no, that would be blasphemy.
This is perfect. What's it made of?
I believe that's amethyst. But let me check. Solar, my wife has all the answers. Solar!
How much?
50 rupees.
I'll take 2. My friend, Mrs. Sybil, is back in our hotel room, writhing in agony. Stomach troubles. Montezuma's revenge, they call it in Mexico. What do you call it here?
Just dysentery. We have no sense of humor where the bowels are concerned.
Well, Margaret would say that's something.
Must not drink our water or eat our fruit, no matter how tempting.
She didn't.
That's what you all say.
But she didn't.
Solar!
I'm hoping this will cheer her up. Oh, I think he's darling. Maybe he'll help me get back the camera I left in Jodhpur. George is going to kill me.
I'm happy and I want people to be happy. Thank you.
You're feeling better. That's what's important. You're missing all of India at this rate. The Towers of Silence were the high point of Bombay. You missed them entirely.
Well, I thought you couldn't even see them.
No, I said you couldn't actually see the vultures eating the flesh off the bones, if that's what you're talking about. You had to be a Parsi. But you could stand outside the gate and look up at the towers and see the vultures swooping down on the bodies on top. That was quite enough for this cookie. Thank you very much. Talk about feeling mortal. Could have been me up there. Someday it will be. When I go, this is what I want, Margaret. Leave my body out on the pier of the Greenwich Yacht Club and let the seagulls go to work. I'm not even going to answer it. I'm glad you like him. I hoped you would.
I only wonder why he has a head for an elephant.
What?
I mean, why he has an elephant's head?
What? I can't hear you.
Well, I wish they kept the windows cleaner. How are we supposed to see anything? How's your side?
Just say,
Oh, I told you. Take Pepto-Bismol.
It's soapstone.
they said it was amethyst.
I'm surprised they didn't tell you it was marble. That's their usual ploy, God love them. No, it's soapstone. I'm afraid they saw you coming,
That's
friend.
what I told her. Maybe she'll listen to you.
I don't care what he's made of. I love it.
Oh, Kitty has become besotted with this Ganesha person.
He's not a person. He's a god.
Oh.
I am not besotted with him.
I am only hoping somebody will tell us how he got the elephants.
Oh, it's a dreadful story. And I don't think Mrs. Brain wants to hear it on that stomach of hers.
I'm fine.
Let's get some tea first. So, you two ladies have fallen under the spell of Ganesha too? Most travelers to India do. My first trip, I couldn't get enough of him. I started developing this lump in the middle of my forehead. sort of psychosomatic trunk.
He's kidding, Maggie. I know he thought that I'm curious. I don't think Mrs. Sybil is enjoying India.
That's not true.
I adore it, of course.
Hindu mythology is so violent. It gives me the creeps. I'll settle for a hammer and nails, your basic wooden cross, and a nice Jewish boy any day of the week. I hope I haven't offended anyone.
Just about everyone.
You threw her a trip. I'm so glad I ran into you.
Thank you, kind sir. I wish you could have seen me when my guts didn't feel as if someone had their hands down there and were tying
She'd
knots.
be dancing on these tables.
You know, you remind me of someone. My mother.
Oh, these grams. Just when you think that, out of the blue, I told her, don't eat the papaya. It wasn't a papaya, and I thought peeling it would make it safe.
Tea for 3, please. Understand? Tea for 3.
The dash.
That's Hindi for
That's
thank you.
Hindi for thank
What
you.
did I tell you?
My wife would get such a kick out of you two.
I can't believe that she flew home without you.
She couldn't take India. A lot of people can't. Too much poverty, too much disease.
Too much everything, the colors, the sounds, the smells. My head is whirling. And my stomach isn't even.
Our husbands wouldn't even consider coming with us. No way, Jose, was how Alan put it.
Actually, we had an incident in Benares. Are you going there?
Absolutely. Benares was one of the main reasons I wanted to come to India. You never told me. Oh, what happened?
I don't want to upset you or anything, and I'm sure this won't happen to you. But we were down at the Ghats where they burned the bodies. I've always been terrified of death, and I thought maybe just looking at it would help. Hundreds of dead bodies being burned like so many logs. Who knew? Maybe it would help. Besides, people like us, we don't go to Benares without seeing the burning Ghats, am I right?
Go on.
They were burning the body of an old woman. I wish I could say I thought it was beautiful or spiritual. I thought it was horrible, and it scared the shit out of me. Kelly was holding my hand so tight I thought she would puncture my flesh with her nails. I hate this, you bastard, she kept saying. Suddenly, someone called out behind us, this harsh, ugly sound. We turned, and this wretched figure in rags on the ground was pointing at us and yelling. We started to run, but Kelly tripped. I lost my grip, and she fell right on top of him. When the bodies hit, he somehow seemed to throw his arms around her, hug her almost. And they rolled over and over in the mud. I couldn't pull them apart. Kelly was screaming, but he wouldn't let go. Finally, it seemed like forever, these 2 policemen appeared and pulled him off her and apologized and hit the old man with their truncheons and escorted us back to our hotel.
You are not going to the burning bodies.
I don't know if he was a leper. Kelly says he was, but she did say, I will never, ever be clean again. I know it. She took shower after shower after shower, but nothing could convince her that she was rid of him. His smell, his dirt, his essence, I suppose. I haven't heard from her since she got back to Boston, poor baby. Let's hope.
And you didn't think of going back with
We
her?
don't have that sort of marriage. There's no children, and we're very independent.
But still.
I don't expect other people to understand. Besides, being in India is rather a solo project anyway. It's finally just you and it. India 10, Kelly nothing. Thank you. What was that word again?
Ladesh.
Ladesh.
Oh, what happened? It's just a tunnel.
The long one, ladies. You haven't read your guidebooks. The Chittagong Pass. The longest tunnel in India, nearly 42 kilometers.
What's that in miles?
I don't know, 35 miles or so?
Oh, my
If this were a movie, one of us would have a dagger in his back when we come out.
Or been kissed, or pinched, or both.
You have a romantic imagination.
And you have a morbid one.
You were going to tell us how Ganesha got his elephant's head.
All right, but I warned
Do
you.
you mean we're going to be in a dark tunnel for an hour?
We'll be fine, Maggie. Nothing's going to happen.
Palace on wheels, dungeon on
Ignore
wheels.
her. Go ahead.
There was a dead spider in my bed last
Where
night.
was I?
I won't even go into the food.
Oh, Ganesha's head.
Oh, that wasn't funny.
What?
Whoever did that, I didn't appreciate it.
Ladesh. Ladesh.
What's the matter, Margaret?
Somebody, I distinctly felt a hand
What?
on my breast. Someone touched.
Margaret.
I'm sure of it.
Was it a friendly hand?
I'm serious.
I'm sure whatever it was, if it was anything, only felt like a hand.
Well, I guess I still know what a hand on my breast feels like.
What's that supposed to mean?
I think you know.
Is there something wrong? The lady seems agitated.
What is he saying?
The tea was not good.
I
Like
think
something more
he let
candles.
his hand. I don't know what he's babbling.
Well, who else were you blaming?
I can assure you, Mrs. Sybil, grabbing women's breasts in dark railway tunnels is not my thing.
No.
And I doubt it was our porter. He's gay as a goose, can't you tell?
Found something, lady. Here, let me.
No.
I've done something wrong, lady.
fine.
Everything is not fine.
Now, who's the ugly American?
Oh, this isn't about that, Kitty.
I won't forget that remark about George.
remark.
He touches me just fine.
Ladies,
The
please!
lady is frightened of the tunnel. And tell the lady there is nothing to fear. See, I laugh at the tunnel.
Why did he do it?
Go back to where you came from.
Ganesha loves you. Ganesha will
Wait,
protect
he
you.
said Ganesha. Did you say Ganesha?
Oh, Ganesha, yes, Ganesha.
See,
I
he said
suppose
Ganesha.
Ganesha fondled my breast.
Ganesha, Ganesha.
Now it's fondled. First it was merely touched. Next it will be the Malabar Caves
No.
incident.
No, Malabar, no, Malabar. No,
I wasn't accusing
no,
you.
Malabar, bad, Malabar, you wrong. No, Malabar. I'm going to my supervisor and tell him the truth before you ladies lie and have a nutmeg redundant. Malabar, no.
What did I say? Or rather, what did he think I said?
The one quarter in all Rajasthan who's read Passage to India.
Glad you find this so amusing.
No one finds it amusing, Margaret, but we can't go around accusing people simply because we feel superior.
I do not feel superior to that person.
Yes, you do. So do I. By our standards, we are. That's the terrible
Just
thing.
spare us this, Kitty.
You ladies will excuse me. I have already done this part with Kelly.
We're sorry.
I saw a 3-month-old copy of the Village Voice with a review of Bob Dylan at the Garden in the library. Or when an email calls the library. Bob Dylan. God, we're all getting so old.
No, he doesn't remind me of Walter either.
I wasn't going to say that.
There is evil in the world, Catherine.
I know that.
I have just been subjected.
So was my son.
Do you want to cut the trip short?
No, do you?
No.
It's all right. So am I. So am I. I thought he said we'd be in there in an hour.
That type thinks they know everything.
I thought you liked him.
I did for 15 minutes. Oh, look, we have some nice scenery coming up. I like it. Everyone for 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. You are my oldest friend.
We hardly know each other.
That's not true. We know each other. We love each other. We just don't especially like each other. I've got water buffaloes on my side. What do you have?
Camels.
I would imagine people had this same view thousands of years ago, before electricity, before atomic energy, before television, before we all got so alike. Grew up, worked in fields just like those, got married, had children, grew old, we died, and with a little luck, somebody remembered you kindly for a generation.
I don't feel like I'm in India at all. I see skies, hills, horizons, and trees. What makes it India, not Danbury? We travel, but we don't go anywhere. I'm stuck. Right here. The earth spins, but I don't.
Excuse me, ladies. I understand there was some disturbance here, some confusion.
No, nothing. We're fine. We're both fine.
Yes, thank you.
But I was told...
No, really, it's quite fun. What time do we get to Jaipur?
At exactly 23:30, in time for the fireworks and the Great Holly Festival.
I have a feeling we won't be free for dinner this evening.
Ah, yes. The gentleman already explained that. Goodbye, then.
I wish I could be a better friend to you, Kate. And vice versa. I don't know what stops you.
Thank you for not making an issue about your breast.
Oh, it's that good Yankee breeding, don't you know? It's all in the genes. We have these marvelous cheekbones. We all talk like Catherine Hepburn. We're both the same age. We come from the same background.
Or so you thought.
Our husbands make approximately the same living. We're both mothers.
You never lost a child.
Well, that's true.
Nothing compares to losing a child. No. Nothing compares to losing that particular child. Why couldn't it have been his brother or Nan or one of the kids or George even? You think God will strike me dead for saying something like that?
No.
I think maybe he should. Every time the telephone rang, I used to dread its being him and him saying, Mom, I've got it. I've got AIDS.
On top of
What's there to say? Who the hell are you to tell me there's evil in the world? You think a little brown man touched your chick in the tunnel. I'm surprised the earth hasn't spun off its axis. I know what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count of 6 African Americans did to my son at the corner of Barrow and Greenwich at 2:30 in the morning. They get off. Walter was a faggot after all, and I don't even get to say nigger. I know there's evil. I'm not so sure there's any justice.
Wish I could comfort you.
I wish you could too. Now I've got the water bottle.
May I put my arm around you?
I'd rather you wouldn't.
Say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
Thank you for that, at least.
You're not alone. There's another person here. Another woman. I'm here, right here. I am breathing the same air, riding the same tree, looking out the window at that same childless landscape. Not alone, even in your head.
Thank you.
I love you. I love you very much. Awful long.
What?
Awful long.
And so it happened that while Margaret Still and Catherine Bryn stared with heavy, sad eyes at what Mr. Ray of India Rail injudiciously called the most beautiful scenery in India, some 8,345 miles away, at 11:20 p.m. their time, George Bryn, Catherine Bryn's husband, Caucasian male, age 62, lost control of his car on a patch of something called glare ice. On his way home from a movie Catherine had refused to see because of its purported violence. She was right. An appalling motion picture it was, too. Went into a skid and slammed into a 300-year-old oak tree. He died instantly. Mrs. Bryn will not learn of her loss until she gets home. Since her children cannot reach her by telephone, the ladies are off their itinerary and frequently without reservations. In Khajuraho, they slept on 2 cots in the garden of a sympathetic postmaster. Her children decide it is better to meet her at the airport when she and Mrs. Sybil return.
I can't believe you lost your guidebook.
Sooner or later, I lose everything.
How are you going to know what you're looking at?
I'm placing myself completely in the hands of our guide, Mr. Ganesh Kandu of Jodhpur.
I think Mrs. Bryn has a slight thing for me. I believe you call them. It's very unusual, but not uncommon. In her own country, she wouldn't give me the time of day.
Well, don't come running to me when we leave Mr. Tandu and Jaipur and you want to know what something is. I'm not going to tell you.
As Rudyard Kipling would say, oh, bugger off, Margaret.
I doubt Rudyard Kipling ever said bugger off, Margaret. Somerset Maugham, maybe.
Welcome to my humble village, lovely ladies. No television, no electricity. Puppet shows and traveling players are our windows on the world. It's lovely.
You said you had a special treat for us, Mr. Tandu.
No, for you, Mrs. Bryn. That is if you don't mind, Mrs. Sybil.
Why just for me, Mr. Tandu?
Why not? Just right up this way, up this little path. Please excuse the ladies, they must pass you. Excuse us very, very much.
Thank you.
Very crowded little village, I'm so sorry. Just a little bit further down the path. Once again, lovely ladies. How lovely Lord Ganesha got this lovely head. Puppets, please.
What's this?
Your part. In India, we participate in theater. We don't sit back, arms folded, and say, show me.
Still in a fury that his wife would not see him, Shiva sent his forces to kill the boy who barred his way.
Very good.
But Parvati created 2 Shaktis to defend her son against her husband, Kali and Durga.
Kali and Durga.
What's a Shakti, Mr. Tandu?
I believe you call them she-devils, Mrs. Sybil.
No, we say bitches. Don't interrupt, Margaret. This is my big moment. To his amazement, Shiva's forces were completely routed by the valiant youth. He knew what he must do.
I will have to kill the boy with my own hands. Let it never be said that a man was subservient to his wife.
That sounds familiar.
Shiva charged the boy with his silver shining trident, but the boy swung his iron club and sent him sprawling. Good for the boy.
That should teach you a lesson, old man. Pop.
What?
Mother, see how I serve you.
And the boy laughed. Oh, how he laughed.
Oh, easy, sure.
And while the boy laughed, Shiva came up from behind him and with one swift stroke of his sword cut off Walter's head. Whoosh! You could hear the sound against the side of his head. Whoosh! Shiva had landed a good one. You're not looking, Mrs. Bryn.
I stayed on my feet a remarkably long time, Mama. I was sort of proud of me.
Where does it say that?
Mother, see how I serve you.
He's not following the script.
And down he fell.
Why me, Mr. Tandu?
Again, why not you, Mrs. Bryn? As the boy lay dying, Shiva realized what he had done.
Shiva, not I.
Where are you going?
You must hear the story to its end, Mrs. Bryn.
I know how it ends. In a New York hospital 20 minutes before I get there.
No, it ends in reconciliation, renewal, and rebirth.
Tell that to Mrs.
Your
Sybil!
story upset Mrs. Bryn.
Perhaps she needed upsetting, Mrs. Sybil. May we continue? It's very bad form to abandon Lord Ganesha in midstream. Shiva went to his wife and begged forgiveness for what he had done.
Oh, great goddess, wife and mother, forgive me.
Parvati faced him with great dignity. That's you, Mrs. Sybil.
I will forgive, but my son must regain his life and he must have an honorable status among you.
Lord Shiva responded with great humility.
Your will shall be done. Vishnu, go north. Bring the head of the first creature that crosses your path. Fit that head through the boy's body, and it will come to life.
And the first creature they saw was an elephant with a single tusk.
Vishnu threw his golden discus and killed him.
And they cut off his head and fixed it to the body of her little boy.
The boy sat up.
He was reborn.
Then Shiva placed his hand on the boy's head and pronounced these solemn and healing words.
Even as a mere boy, you showed great valor. You shall be Ganesha, the presiding officer of all my Ganas. You shall be worthy of worship forever.
Mighty is the Lord Shiva. Great is his compassion.
Here is the story of how lovely Lord Ganesha got his lovely head. There are many others, Mrs. Sybil, if the ladies are so inclined.
No, I don't think so. I'm worried about my friend.
I said something wrong, perhaps.
Almost seemed deliberate.
It's only a legend. You Christians take everything so literally.
She had a son.
Whose head was cut off? Oh, my, this New York City of yours must be a fearful
Ridiculous.
place.
His head wasn't cut off. He was murdered.
I heard of a man who went there and they ate his toes. They were so hungry.
Don't believe such stories. I assure you it has not come to
They
pass.
sold his eyeballs for drug money.
You have a horrible imagination.
Thanking you very much.
Work on your English. That wasn't a compliment. Catherine!
Tonight the ladies ride elephants to a banquet in a Maharaja's palace and dine by torchlight. Oh, Lordy, look at us. We have to dress. Sayonara. Ciao.
I'm sick of your mythology. It's as false as ours. My son was not reborn. He died 20 minutes before I got to the hospital. His murderers never asked my forgiveness. Oh, you had it easy, Parvati. No honor was made to me. I have my anger and nothing more. No love. No love at all.
Catherine! Kitty! Where could she have gone to? She would lose herself and not just the train tickets if I didn't keep an eye on her. Oh. And I am ashamed to admit this, but I never realized how dependent we are on the men. She wouldn't admit that, but it's true. This may be the last time I go anywhere with anybody. I am not a fellow traveler. I almost told her about Gabriel. It would have been such a tiny leap across that void between two people. I lost a son too, Kitty. 6 little words I couldn't do. I lost a son too, Kitty. Kitty!
How old are you? Do you speak any English? 7 years old? 8? How old are you?
Dutch! We've been to Holland twice. Oh, you have wonderful museums there. The Rembrandt Museum, one of my favorites.
Yes, Rembrandt.
Rembrandt, well, one of my favorite painting is by Rembrandt. Only it's in London at the National Gallery.
London, yes.
You have the dearest face. Oh, God. I wish I knew your name. When I get back to America, I would send you the biggest box of anything you wanted.
Are you really from America? How old are you? Are you rich? Is there really a Rocky? Who's your leader there now?
Slow down. I can't understand a word you're saying. I don't speak Hindi.
I like you.
Where are we going? I'm letting you take me.
It's called woman bathing.
Yes.
Well, in English it's called woman bathing. I don't know what it's called in Dutch. Do you know
Yeah.
it?
Yes, woman bathing.
It's just a woman wading in a river. She has her shift pulled up to her thighs. She's looking at her reflection in the water, very pensive but powerful. It's a dark painting, not Rembrandt is. There's something about it. It's her isolation, her independence, her strength. Oh, I am terrible talking about art. Are you good at it?
Yes.
Look, there's a river here. Can we take our shoes off and bathe our feet?
Very nice.
Oh, this is where you were leading me. What's this river called?
Kitty! Hello, Kitty! There's my friend, the other side of the river.
Hello! That's Mrs. Sybil. She's my friend.
She can't hear us. Who's your little friend?
Behave yourself, you two. What is she doing?
Woman bathing by Rembrandt!
Woman bathing. Ah, yes.
Oh. Woo. You're a happy little person, aren't you? What's your secret? Everyone in India seems so content. I know that isn't true, but you do seem to possess calm and confidence we don't. I bet if I put just one finger on your belly, you'd drop down giggling like a little doughboy.
Every time I go to London, I visit it, but the last time something strange and rather awful happened. Two museum guards were talking as if I weren't even there. One was a man more or less my age talking to a much younger woman who I assume was Indian or from Pakistan. You know what he said to her? Right in front of me, as if I were invisible. No one wants me anymore. I've had my day. It's gone now. Oh, I wish people wouldn't say such deeply personal things in public. It stayed with me the entire trip, almost ruined my Rembrandt. This was 5 or 6 years ago. It's just come back to me.
London. The father's sister, London.
No one wants me anymore. I've had my day. It's gone. Now, isn't that a terrible thing to say with a total stranger listening?
Oh, they're going back. I'll see you in the room.
5 o'clock. Drinks with the manager.
My little brown bambino. My nutmeg, Yesu. What color is your skin? Coffee? No, that isn't right either. What color is mine? Not white. Where do words come from? What do they mean?
Walter.
What? It sounded like you said Walter.
Walter.
You did. You said Walter.
Walter.
Walter must mean something in Hindi then, right? What does it mean? Walter.
Walter.
Does it mean laughter? Oh, it must mean something joyous, something good. Walter, 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 Walter,
Walter, Walter, Walter.
It's gone.
Why have you stopped smiling?
Stay this way forever. When you grow up, I won't like you. I'll hate you and fear you because of the color of your skin, just as I hated and feared my son because he loved men. I won't tell you this to your face, but you will know it just as he knew it, and it will sicken and diminish us both.
Why are you looking at me so intently? What do you want to see?
I came here to be healed, but I can't forgive myself. Maybe if I shouted out the names of my fear and hatred of you across this holy river, they'd vanish too, just like Walter did. Faggot. Queer. The words keep sticking.
Faggot. Queer.
The small boy says it better than you do.
Faggot. Queer.
Again.
Faggot. Queer.
Again.
Faggot. Queer.
Louder.
Faggot. Faggot. Queer. Queer.
No, say it with hatred the way they did. Fag, queer, cunt.
sit down,
I
Mrs.
can't
Sybil.
sit till it stops rocking.
She's going to make us capsize.
Grab the sides and sit.
This is madness. I am never going to see Pumpkin Fields Lane again. I hate you for doing this. I hate myself for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you, thank you. Who would think to bring Dramamine to India? Dramamine is when you take the QE2. Where's your scarf? You know what Mr. Tennyson told us about this damn morning air? You just got over dysentery, next up pneumonia, then on to God knows what.
Maggie, please.
What? I'm so sorry. I'll practice what they taught us at the Yoga Institute in Delhi. Oh. It's not working. Don't mind me, everyone. No, they're not. That's what's so pathetic.
Benares, now called Varanasi, the Eternal City, is one of the most important pilgrimage sites in India and also a major tourist attraction.
God, look at that. It's a dead rat floating by.
For the pious Hindu, the city has always had a special meaning. Not only is it an important pilgrimage center, it is considered especially auspicious to die here, ensuring an instant routing to heaven.
Oh my God, what is that?
Cow.
What's he saying?
Cow.
Looks like a
I
cow.
think it is.
Cow.
Oh my God, what is it? I am going to be sick.
Tell us about the gods, Mr. Tennyson.
Gods are the steps which lead down to the river, from which the pilgrims make their sin-cleansing dip in the Ganges. Dawn is the best time to see them.
Oh God, Kitty, look, it's a body.
I see it, Margaret.
The pilgrims will be there for their early morning dip. The city is just coming to life. The light is magical.
We're going to bump right into it.
There are 100 gods in all, of which
Tell us about the burning gods.
well, there are two principal ones, the Marnakarnika god and the Shravan Paduka god. There, you can just see the fires. This is where the bodies are cremated after making the final journey to the holy Ganges. The men swathed in white cloth, the women in red, and carried on a bamboo stretcher or even the roof of a taxi.
Baby.
Oh God, Kitty, don't look, it's a child.
Baby.
Can you tell what sex?
Keep going, keep going.
Baby.
We're going to hit again. Oh, that's...
Boy, baby.
It's a little boy.
How can you look even?
Perhaps we should go back. Mrs. Sybil doesn't seem able to handle
You're
this.
right, she isn't. Please, Catherine, I have had enough.
Back! Take us back!
Oh. Oh, be careful! He was touching that body with his toe. I feel slimy.
What brought you here, Mr. Tennyson?
It's Norman, please. I was looking for something I couldn't find in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Forget what it was now. But for a couple of minutes back in my youth, I thought I'd found it. Maybe it was just extra good grass.
Oh, please. Oh, can we get home?
I thought I'd be more appalled by all this.
Thought or hoped? Some people come to Varanasi to find their hearts have completely hardened. It's a terrible realization.
Well, what are we supposed to do? I can't accept all this. My heart and mind would break if I did. Yet I must. I know that.
Everything in and on this river seems inevitable and right. Something dead.
Those were there. The dog.
An old woman with a sagging breast, bathing herself, oblivious to us.
She's lovely.
Even us in our Burberry raincoats. We all have a place here. Nothing right. Nothing wrong. Allow. Accept. Be.
again. I think you'll find the shopping here a little more to your liking. Varanasi is famous all over India for its silk brocade.
I'm looking for a figure of Ganesh. You've got about a dozen of them. I'm looking for a perfect Ganesh.
Is there such a thing?
I'm sure of it.
We gotta move on, ladies. We have Sarnath before lunch.
What's in Sarnath?
Buddha!
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Ridiculous at my age. But you are going to tell Alan, of course.
I don't know. Not unless I have to. It would give him one more reason to work late. He's had one reason now for 7 years. Her name is Tennessee. I think she's divorced. She's got 2 kids. I've seen them. She's only about 10 years younger than me. Keeps her in a condo at the club.
I had no idea.
We're not supposed.
I'm so sorry.
You've got to stop saying that. What happens to women anyway? Who are we? What are we supposed to be? What are we supposed to do? Men still have all the marbles. All we have are our children, and sooner or later, we lose them. Your friend back down.
You think I'm crazy, don't you?
Yes.
I couldn't do it. Yesterday, while you were resting, I went down to the lobby and ordered tea, and I just sat there staring out at him. I felt strangely drawn to him, Margaret, and yet repulsed too. I had to go out to him.
I was up here. I wanted to cry out to you, but I didn't. I guess I wanted you to do it for the both of us.
Why are you so diseased and hideous? What can I do to change that?
Love me, the man said, and smiled at the lovely American.
Here in the warmth and light of India, I want to hold you in my arms as I could not hold my son as he lay dying on a dark city street.
Love me,
the man said again, and smiled again.
Here in this special moment when we are so close yet so alone, I want to kiss you on the lips as I never dared kiss my son for fear of terrifying him how much I loved him.
love me.
Love me, the man said again, but this time he did not smile.
You frightened me. You disgust me.
Love me.
I cannot do it.
Mrs. Catherine Bryn reached into her purse and gave the man 50 rupees and one of her perfect Ganeshas. She did not sleep well that night. She worried about her soul. The man, on the other hand, had the finest meal of his entire miserable life.
I couldn't do it either.
The whole trip was a failure.
Don't be
then.
so hard on yourself. You can't save the world.
I can't even save myself. Here.
That's one of your favorites.
There are plenty more where that came from. I've got dozens of them by now. I still haven't found the perfect one.
They're all perfect, Catherine.
I know that. I wish I could believe it. I can't. I just can't. It's for good
You're
luck.
a kind woman.
Taj Mahal, then home.
What does one say before such beauty? If one is wise, very, very little.
If there's a building which evokes a country, like the Eiffel Tower does for France, the Sydney Opera House for Australia, then it has to be the Taj Mahal for India.
Do you mind? We aren't trying to appreciate it all.
It's a free country.
No, that's America. This is India.
I've stopped breathing.
My heart is pounding. It's just been worth every. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Not going to cry, I refuse to cry.
Oh, go ahead. I may just join you.
Do you think this is why we exist? To create this?
I don't know. I don't think I can talk.
I think it's better maybe if we don't.
I want you to see what I see. Look, over
Oh,
there.
I see that, Kitty. I see it. And look! Look, did you ever?
We're in paradise. It's a dream. It isn't true.
Oh, it is true, and we are here. And we will have this forever. Look. Look.
2 days later, they were back in Connecticut, met at the airport by a solemn delegation of Alan Civil and various friends, bearing the mournful news of Catherine's husband, the glare ice, and the oak tree.
I saw her today at the reception.
Vacations can end abruptly like this. Trips have a way of going on. Mrs. Civil and Mrs. Grimm's visit to India was of the second variety.
Words, what to this man? You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you might find.
What's his book?
Oh, it came yesterday. It was addressed to the two of you. What are you two doing over there, picking up strange men? It was a joke, Margaret. I'll never know if I did the right thing. It's a big country. Who knew where to find you? I said to their kids, go to the Taj Mahal, hang out. Sooner or later, they'll turn up. Everybody thought I was kidding. I thought it was a good idea. Good night, Maggie. Glad you're home. We missed you.
Yes? Are you okay?
Better than expected.
We got a postcard from Patty yesterday.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, those two young men, our first day in Bombay, they were next door. They were both sick.
I remember.
Dear girls, all right, ladies. Welcome home. Hope you had a wonderful trip and didn't have to use that police whistle again. Did you see the Taj Mahal? Didn't you die just a little? Thanks for all your kindness. Harry is still in the hospital here, but doing well. We're both hanging in there. What else are you going to do? Love bed. Guess who the card's of? Your favorite, Lord Ganesha? It is a perfect Ganesh. I'll bring it over tomorrow. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine.
I love you.
Thank you.
Well, you're supposed to say I love you too.
I love you too, Margaret.
Good night.
Good night. Blow the wind southerly, southerly, southerly. Blow the wind south for the bonny blue sea. Blow the wind southerly, southerly, southerly. Blow bonny breezes, my lover, to me. They told me last night there were ships in the offing, and I hurried down to the deep rolling sea. My eye could not see it. Carry me home.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. The milkman's on his way. Good night.
You're all invited to a brief discussion with the actors after the show tonight in about 5 minutes or so. If anyone wants to hang around, we'd love to have you. Thanks.